Hello. So I hope you all are doing well on this fine afternoon. I thought this video would be kind of a fun one to make because I actually just released my very first album of instrumental tracks. If you haven't heard it, you should definitely go check it out. There will be a link in the description below. If you have been listening to it, I really appreciate it a lot for all you guys who checked it out and just, you know, all your kind words and everything. But in that video, I talked about how for a really long time, I've been wanting to drop some sort of album, like pretty much ever since I started making beats. So I thought it would be fun today to dive into the deepest, darkest corners of the interwebs and try to find some of my oldest beats. So if you don't know, I believe it was in January of 2022, the hard drive that I've been using for the last like 6 years just completely crapped out on me, and I lost the majority of my videos and music and pictures and all that kind of stuff. That being said, I have lost a lot of my old beats, but there is still some that you can find out there, so let's try to find them. These headphones are so destroyed, by the way. Alright, so the first and foremost obvious platform is going to be SoundCloud. SoundCloud is where I uploaded the majority of my first beats that I was actually proud enough to release. And I was actually pretty consistent on here for quite a while. So there's quite a bit of my beat history upon SoundCloud. So if we go to my SoundCloud and then we just scroll all the way to the bottom, this one right here called Felix with the Heat. I'm pretty sure this is the only beat that I made inside of LMMS, which if you don't know, it's a free beat making software that I started on. This is the only LMMS beat that I think is out there pretty much of mine. That is just actually the worst producer tag I've ever heard. Just actually the worst drums ever. It's just mixed so badly. I think I was just really proud of that little background sound. I don't even know what that is. It's some like Asian instrument. I don't know, like some stringed instrument thing. But I was just really proud of that. So much so that I just made 3 minutes with a drum loop over it, so that's that one. A lot of these beats you'll find are very repetitive. It was just kind of me doing Control B a bunch of times and like copying the same 8 bars over. That one was from 8 years ago, which is pretty nutso. Anyways, it says this one is from about a year later, and I know for sure all of these are FL Studio. So this is when I started using FL Studio. I think this is when I was using the FL Demo. If you don't know, the FL Studio Demo is free like forever. You can use it as long as you want. The problem is you can't save your projects. So what I had to do was either two things. I would have to finish the song all in one sitting, or two, I would have to just leave my computer open because I couldn't just close the computer and open it back up again. For some reason, my computer would just kind of crash if I did that. So I had to just keep the computer partially open if I wanted to like keep working on a project. But this is when I was doing a lot of lo-fi stuff. These are my little sisters right there. The drums just don't really sound very good. That crash does not sound good to me. It sounds like almost like a toy crash. Also, it's just the same 8-bar loop. Oh, I reversed it. Look at that. Getting fancy with it over here. There's also no bass on this song, which is like a little weird. For a long time when I first started making beats, I was just using Looperman loops. Like I would just take a loop from Looperman, just put drums over it, and I was like, hey, there's my beat. All right, so this is kind of a trap style beat. It was kind of a chill trap beat. This picture is from one of my first times driving, which is interesting to see. So this kind of explains why I don't have everything on here. I said I deleted some of my older songs and albums because I want to just have the best of the best on here. These are by no means the best of the best, but I guess at that time they were. I did used to have a few tracks on SoundCloud that were like even older than this, like probably like 9 or 10 years old, and they were just like GarageBand loop type beats. I added some birds to this one, which is pretty cool.
Felix on the track.
Why do I do that producer tag? I should have just literally never done the producer tag thing in the beginning because that is just so bad. I was like, yeah, I can just say Felix on the track and then put some delay on it and pitch it up or down, and that's my producer tag. Oh no, I added the yup sound in there. Not a fan of those chants, personally. Oh, little gross beat action. Got some flanger on there. Yeah, it's just a pretty basic, pretty repetitive trap beat, but it doesn't sound too bad. Like, you can tell that I was getting better here. I definitely added some more interesting stuff, so a little, you know, gross beat and the whatever other stuff I was doing in there. All right, this one is another lo-fi one, which I remember this one being not too bad. Got some more ambience in there, which is cool. I guess I've been doing that for a while. I didn't even realize how long I'd been adding little like vocal recordings and ambient noise to my songs, but apparently 7 years at least. Dude, why? I couldn't decide on one either. I was like, some of them are going to be low, some of them are going to be high, some of them are going to be chopped up. Those drums just do not hit. Like, you just expect that to hit way harder, and then it's just like the same volume. I remember on this one, I specifically tried to make the mix more lo-fi. I didn't really know what I was doing at all with mixing at the time, so I was just kind of like looking up tutorials of like how to make your stuff sound lo-fi, how to make it sound old and vintage. I got some chops in there in the sample though. Little reverse action. It's so repetitive though. I don't even think there's any break from the drums at all in this. Oh, here we go. It's just the same loop for 4 minutes. That one's okay. It just sounds kind of weird and over compressed. Okay, this one I remember, also a Looperman loop. Just at this point, all of these are just Looperman loops. Yeah, I'm just not really a fan of the drums. I feel like they're not really hitting for me. Also, I love how I knew I was using Looperman loops and I needed to kind of spice it up and make it different somehow. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to add some chops in there. I'm going to chop the sample up and make it kind of funky sounding. And then there's just like 20 seconds of silence at the end. Nice. All right, so this one right here, which this is a cool picture of me playing guitar when I was like probably 3 years old. Also found another Looperman sample, but it kind of had more of like a bluesy kind of feel to it. It's a cool sample. I like the sample. That just, how did I not sit there and realize that that is just ruining every track? It just does not fit with literally anything. Okay, you get the idea. It's just the same thing. I have one part where the hi-hats go a little bit faster, and then I have the other part where they're slower, and then I just go back and forth between that. So this one's called Calm, and it's just a picture of me kind of awkwardly standing in a field. Yet again, another Looperman sample, because that's just the recurring theme here. But I remember the drums in this one actually being really good. It just does not sound good, man. Look at that. I figured out how to add bass. We got some bass in there. Put it in mono there. Look at that. This one's cool. I like this one. I'll be honest, it's repetitive like pretty much all the other ones, but hey, it's definitely a little bit of a step up from everything else that I did. All right, this one I'm pretty sure dropped on Valentine's Day. That's why it's a heart thing and why I'm like standing there with a bunch of hearts around me. And if I remember correctly, this one did not use a Looperman sample. I think this was all my own handiwork. It's probably not going to sound as good, but it'll be something. It's so hard to listen to that. So, funny story behind this one actually. This beat I made around the time that I was taking animation and cartoon drawing class in high school. I took animation and cartoon drawing 1 and 2. So altogether I took it for like a full year. And everybody was kind of doing like claymation or flipbook stuff or whatever. And usually something with like a storyline. But my teacher was super cool and he let me just kind of do whatever I wanted because I told him that I made music. And I had the idea to just kind of make a project around like whatever music I was making. So this right here was my class project that I made for animation and cartoon drawing, and it was just a video of like raindrops and a Rubik's Cube solving and unsolving itself to that song playing. I don't know why there's a flip phone and a 3DS there, but that's a thing. FL Studio in the background floating by. Not gonna lie, I still think this is pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like a visualizer, but it's a pretty cool one. And honestly, I kind of feel like I want to do some more stuff like that. Just like some weird green screen animation stuff. Okay, so this was the first project, quote unquote project that I dropped. You can tell my drums are getting a lot better here. This picture is also just a super old picture from my mom's Facebook page when I was probably like 6, 7, 8 years old. And I remember one of the comments under that Facebook post was like, this is going to be an album cover one day. I don't know who said that, but I just remember that I had that in mind. So I made this the cover of this little like EP thing. So I think there's a pretty big break in between this one and this one, because you can tell that I kind of got a lot better at making beats. Just some of these are a lot better. Like, those drums sound clean. I don't really have any complaints about these drums here. Okay, so this one is very interesting. This one's called Castle, and I'm fairly certain that this is like the first guitar beat that I ever made. Hey, that's not bad. It's a cool little melody. I had 2 guitar layers in there. That was basically the whole beat, but hey, still pretty cool though. This one right here is really where I kind of started to branch off. This one definitely has a more prevalent guitar part. Like, I actually recorded guitar chords and everything, and the drums are just like a totally different style. I even did it #indie too, which is kind of cool. Still decided that I would ruin it with that producer tag though. You know, just some things never change. I can change the whole genre up, but I'm still gonna mess it up with the worst producer tag ever imaginable. Ooh. Look at that, little piano in there. Got some reverse guitar in there. So obviously it still gets a little bit repetitive because it's kind of just the same thing over and over with slight variations, but you can tell here that I was like starting to add more stuff so that the beats, you know, weren't as repetitive. All these tracks here you can see are part of a little EP/album thing. So you can see they're called guitar beats. And this was really when I first started to actually make like proper guitar beats where I was just recording my own guitar. I remember just putting these out and I was really proud of all these because I actually played the guitar myself on these tracks. I put this beat on my Beats channel and it sold really quickly. I think I sold it to some random guy for like 15 bucks for an exclusive because I just didn't know what I was doing in selling beats yet. But there ended up being a lot of different rappers who used this beat, got actually a decent amount of traction for me, and I was like, hey, I can make guitar beats. Pretty cool. All right, so I'll say that these are not the best beats by any means. The guitars all kind of sound a little bit thin, like there's just kind of one guitar layer playing. But the majority of these beats are very nostalgic for me just because of like the time that I made them. I was kind of just starting to get into guitar playing and all that kind of stuff. So they're all just really sentimental and kind of hold a special place in my heart personally. This one I remember being one of the first that I did everything myself, and I really liked the way that it sounded. And I think even still, this is a pretty cool beat. Now we have the tag that sounds a little bit more normal. This is when I actually had my name properly and everything. I'll say it does get a little bit repetitive because this is basically just the same as this. I will also say that the layering is really good. I like a lot of the melodies in there. That little Mellotron, like whatever thing that is, sounds really good. It's just a really cool melody that I came up with there. So I'm happy with this one. I think the mixing is also really good too. Okay, and then this one, I decided to spell it normally on this one. So Guitar Beats Volume 2. This is when I got noticeably better at playing guitar. Like, it wasn't just me strumming chords anymore. I was doing like actual melodies and cool stuff on there. Like, that right there is a cool guitar part. Still need to work on the basic trap drums that I have over basically all these beats, but still, you can really tell that the guitar got a lot better on these. So then after that, I really only have a couple other tracks. These ones were all when I was kind of in my like dance music making era. I honestly thought that was going to be my sound for a while. I was going to be like the dance producer guy, which I'm very glad that that didn't end up being the route that I took. But still, these are really cool to have on here, and I'm glad that people can see kind of, you know, just what I was making at that time. All right, so that's SoundCloud. Let's go find some YouTube stuff maybe. All right, so on my Beats channel here, you can see that we have the oldest tracks, the first of which being Beats by Felix (2). I actually have no idea what this sounds like. I just have like random footage of my friends skateboarding in this one. Nice. I did a little effect on the beat drop there. The words kind of zoom in when the drums come in there. I mean, just not good at all. Early 2017 feezo hitting different. Just not a good beat, and I actually have no idea why that was the one that I chose to put on there, but hey, it's on there if you want to go listen to it. Actually, now that I think about it, I have a few loops that are on Looperman. Dang, man, I can't play these. That kind of sucks. Well, thanks, Looperman. We can't access my old stuff on here anymore. This is fire. I'm gonna drop it today. I mean, next week. Well, yeah, so much for Looperman then, I guess. All right, so I showed this a little bit in my album documentary video, but I think this deserves a little bit more of a breakdown because what is going on here? I have me with the mirror flip effect. I'm wearing a somewhat of a suit type deal. I have a rake and I'm standing on a children's bike. All the beats are called Hot Beat 1 through 12 and they all sound like this. I even said in here, this is my second album. I figured this was worthy of the main channel. Alright, so they're horrible. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to show you guys for today. I really wish I had more stuff on my computer that I could show you guys, but like I said, the majority of it got erased when my hard drive got destroyed. But nonetheless, it was a lot of fun going through and looking at all these horrendous old beats of mine. I hope you guys enjoyed this little blast from the past as much as I did. It's really cool to see kind of my journey as a producer and see how far I've come just making beats and stuff. So yeah, if there's any takeaway from this video, it's that you should just keep going, never stop making beats. Every time you make a new beat, you're gonna get better just a little bit every time. And at the end of the day, just have fun making music and you're going to get a lot better really fast without even noticing it. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching as always. Thank you so much for those of you who listened to my new album that's come out. Love you guys and I will see you in the next video.